So coming to the testing levels, okay, we have different type of testing levels, like unit testing and integration testing, system testing, and acceptance testing. As I said, unit testing is done by who will do unit testing? Okay, who will do this unit testing? I said yesterday, developer. Yes, unit testing is also called as white box testing. Okay, or yeah, white box testing. Okay, so that means the developer, whatever he have written the code, he will test that application or to test that logic or piece of code. Okay, so that is called unit testing. And what is integration testing? So integration testing is something when developer written, multiple modules, 2 3 developers have worked on some different module. Okay, they try to integrate each module, and then they see whether all the modules are working correctly or not. All modules are communicating, okay, communicating each other. Okay, that need to be tested, like someone have designed this registration module, and someone designed this or developed this login module. Okay, at the end when they combine those login and registration, the things from registration should come to the login page. The data flow from that particular registration need to be come to login page. Correct. So this is what the integration testing is being done. It is done both manual and QA automation, or QA testers also do integration testings. Okay, then system testing is something that they will test the whole application. Okay, once everything is being integrated, services, all the modules, everything, they will test the whole application. That is called a system testing. Acceptance testing, as I said, who will do acceptance testing? Who will accept the application? Yeah, any guess? Okay, so acceptance testing is done by clients. Okay, who will take that application in the final product. Okay, they will take the final product, so they will do this acceptance testing. Got it? Client will perform this testing. Right? Okay, any doubt on this, like understood what is unit testing, integration testing, system, and acceptance testing? So this same thing we have written here. The most micro scale of testing, like as I said, it is a like unit level testing. Okay, the piece of code the developer developed, that is being tested over here. Test done on particular functions or code modules requires knowledge of the internal program or designing and code. Okay, so whoever do this unit testing, he should know like what are the things is being written inside, like what are the code. Okay, he should able to debug that code as well. Okay, done by programmers, not the testers. Unit testing is generally done by programmers or developers. Unit testing, when we do input and output, okay, after modules are coded, we do, as I said, the same thing is being written over here, okay. Then who will do this? Developers, methods, the white box testing technique, test coverage technique also. These are the methods, two methods, okay. Or it's called white box testing or test coverage testing. We need to find out the what are the coverages of that particular test, okay. Then debug, restructure, code analyzer, path, statement, coverage tools, okay. These are the things we use. The simple, okay. And incremental integration testing, as I said, continuous testing of an application as and when new functionality is added, okay, when it clubbed together, then we do the testing, okay. It is done by programmer or testers as well. Integration testing, same thing. Types of integration testing, there are different types of integration testing as well, like big bang testing, top down integration testing, then bottom up integration testing. What are all those? Integration testing to technically verify proper interfacing between the modules and within the subsystems are working fine or not. What are the input for this integration testing? Internal and external applications, design, master test plan, integration test plan. Okay, what are the output? Integration test report would be the output of this particular test. Who will do this? Developers. Okay, white box and black box technique. Fine. System testing to verify the system component perform control functions. To perform inter system test, okay, we do this system testing, as I said, not much in this. And in the last I said acceptance testing. What are the acceptance testing? To verify that the system meets the user's requirement. What are the users or the client wanted from us to design that application? All that thing is working fine or not, all the things are correct or not, so that they will test, okay. We'll do it into user or users. In this case, we use black box text techniques and okay. So let me just tell you what is the black box testing. Okay, you might get a lot of questions on this, like what is the black box testing, what is white box testing. So basically, black box testing, it is done by QA tester. Okay, QA tester means automation tester or maybe manual tester, and it is done by developer. Okay, they will check the code, each piece of code they have written, they will check that one. Fine. Then after we have second, what is the black box testing? Okay, don't know the internal details, fine, or code. But in this case, need to know internal details. Fine. Any question on this? Understood? Fine. Because a lot of time you will get question, what are the difference between black box testing and white box testing? There are a lot of things are there. For the timing, just understand like what is voodoo and what is the logic, what is the difference between these two. Okay, the developer do white box testing and they know the internal things like coding and all. They know white box in okay. So developer, what do the developer do? Developer develop the code, develop the application or write the codes, right? Let me just show you one thing. Okay, so suppose there is an application. Okay, this is the website a developer need to design. So what are the things he need to write to develop this particular application? So let me just tell you what exactly they will write. Okay, developer will write these things in his machine. Okay, you can see these all are the codes. Okay, the developer will write these codes. Fine, they will write this thing. Okay, but the tester, they don't check this thing. Okay, so the developer writes some, suppose this thing till here to here he have written. Okay, developer, then he need to check like whether this particular piece whatever he have written is working correctly or not. So he need to run it within his machine and he'll see all the details are coming fine or not here. Okay, so that type of testing is called white box testing. Understood? In code whatever he have written here, he will check whether everything is working fine or not. Okay, all the spelling is correct or not. So that thing is called white box testing. And what is the black box testing? They the testers, QA tester, they don't go to that code. They will, they don't understand as well like what is they have written. Okay, so they will just test like each input box he can enter not, he can enter some value or not. Okay, so this thing a manual tester or black box tester will do. Click on that. So all the UI part will be doing black box testing. Got it? The difference? The white box tester will do the internal thing, internal coding and all, like all the coding is working fine or not. This piece of code you have written, he'll check this particular piece of code is working fine or not. Okay, fine. Then we have next, what are the testing methodologies and types? What are the testing methodology and type? Like as I said, black box testing, white box testing, incremental testing, thread testing. Okay, these two are more important. Okay, white box testing, as I said, the same thing. Okay, black box testing, no knowledge of internal knowledge. Okay, internal design or code required. Tests are based on requirements and functionality. And in case of white box testing, knowledge of internal program design and code required. Tests are based on the coverage of codes, statement, branch. There are code coverages are there. Okay, so that is also important, but that is kind of white box testing. We are not concerned about that. Okay, for right now. What are the technique we do in black box testing? Incorrect or missing function. As I said, the same thing. Okay, all the things are working fine or not. Are we able to log in or not? Are we able to enter the value into input box or not? So all the things comes under black box testing. Black box testing or functional testing also we say like it's a functional testing as well. Okay, the black box testing is also a functional testing. That means all the functions on the UI is working fine or not, he'll check. Okay, that's why he called as a functional tester. Based on the requirement and functionality, not based on any knowledge of internal design or code, cover all the combined part of the system. Tests are data driven. All the data they will use like username and password. So that's why it's called a data driven. White box and or structural testing. White box also called as a structural testing. Based on the knowledge of internal logic, same thing I said. Okay. What is the end-to-end testing? Similar to system testing. System testing also we do like end-to-end everything, like every component after integration, we do the system testing. Okay, all the environment is working fine or not, all the particular application is working fine or not. So everything we need to check in system testing. And the similar way in end-to-end testing also, we do a complete application environment, okay, test in a situation that mimic the real world use. Then there is something called the sanity testing and the regression testing. What do you mean by the sanity testing? Okay. Sanity testing, initial effort to determine if a new software version is performing well enough to accept it, or a major testing effort, right? Right? Hello? So the sanity testing, as I said, initial effort to determine if a new software version is performing well enough to accept it for a major testing effort, right? Sanity testing generally, when we do, when a new build is, suppose there are 2 3 sprint, okay, as I said in agile there are some sprint are there. So in sprint, okay, so what happens is we need to test, when a developer done their coding, when the developer done their unit testing, okay, after that the next phase would be the QA, right? In QA, okay, in QA, once that particular testing is, built, the test plan is built, the test strategy is built, everything is completed, okay. After that, the tester will test that application as well, correct? Okay. So once the application is, tested, and the tester find any bug on that particular application, okay, so then he will assign the defect. I'll tell you about the what is the defect and all, okay. So the defect is being assigned back to a developer who developed that application, okay. So that defect, once the developer fixed it, he will assign back to the tester. He will tell them like, hey, can you just check that the functionality is working fine or not now, okay. So after he received, the tester received the, fixed code, he will have to check that functionality. Suppose for example, okay, this is the application, okay, there was some error over here, okay. Suppose instead of March 28, okay, this is the current date or whatever, okay, instead of this date it was showing some 1990 or something like that. There was, this is called bug, right? So the tester, he said to that developer that, hey, can you just fix this because it's not working as expected, it should like today's date, okay. So what he, the developer corrected this code in his code, okay, and then he assigned back this application to the QA or developer, sorry, tester, okay. Then the tester need to check, yes, this particular application or particular field is working fine, but he also need to check some more things, like once this is fixed, that's correct, that's fine, it's working fine, but he need to check whether some related field is also working, or is there any effect on that or not? Okay, so he will also need to test those functionality in a very narrowly. Okay, he will not go in depth, but he will cover some of the functionality, major functionality, which might get affected by this fix. Okay, he will test or execute some related test cases to that particular defect. So that is called the sanity testing. Okay, got it? Yeah, sanity test something. Okay, sanity testing is done like when, one second, yeah, when any defect arrives. Okay, let me write here. When defect arrives, okay, after defect fixing, after defect fix, okay, tester need to test those uh, affected test cases, and also some high level into test. Okay, I can say this is called as sanity. Okay, understood? Sanity testing. After defect fix, tester need to test those affected test cases, and also some high level into test. Okay, around those defect. And there is something called a smoke test. What do you mean by smoke test? When a new build is given to a tester, he performs a quick into test to find all the major functionalities fine or not. Okay, after finding uh, after the testing, tester will accept the build or reject. Okay, when a new okay, sorry, fine. When a new build is given to a tester, he first perform like all the functionalities or major functionalities working or working fine or not. If that major functionality are not working fine, then he will reject that build. He'll say, I will not take this build because nothing is working fine, and what I will test. You just correct everything and then give me another build so that we can uh, do the testing in a furthermore. So this is called a smoke test. Okay, fine. And there is something called a regression testing. What do you mean by regression testing? In the regression testing, what happens is when a new functionality is added or a defect is fixed, okay, then all the previous releases major functionalities, okay, functionalities need to be tested, okay. So that means when a new build arrives, okay, some tester, they test this particular application. After that, they'll find there is some bug, okay. So they will test that particular uh, that thing, that test they will execute that, and if they will find any bug, they will assign back to the developer, okay. The defect, what do you mean by defect? Any bug or anything wrong, the tester find, okay, and he will document it everything in a I'll show you how to log a defect, okay. So that is being assigned back to the developer who have designed or developed that particular application, okay. That will be assigned to the developer, and developer will fix those defect, and he will tell the tester that, hey, I have fixed that particular issue, can you just check now if it is working fine or not, okay, fine. Then defect is done. After he received the fixed version, fixed, as I said, he received the fixed build, he need to check whether the existing functionality are working fine, okay. He will check the existing functionalities are working fine or not, or is broken. So that is called regression testing, okay. Due to new build or defect fix, need to check whether existing functionalities are working fine or not. This is called regression testing. Understood? Fine. There is acceptance testing. As I said, there is a acceptance testing. Who do this acceptance testing? The customer, individual, or the client. Okay. They will check whether whatever we have asked you, have you done that type of software or not. Okay. They will test that application. They will test like the login functionality is working fine or not. They will test like everything is working fine or not. So that thing they will test it. So that is called acceptance testing. Then load testing. Load testing is something testing an application under heavy loads. Example, okay, there is a Facebook. Okay, Facebook is there. You can post some event, right? You can post some event on Facebook, correct? So in Facebook, suppose you need to post 1,000, okay, 1,000 of post today. Okay, 1000, 2000. So you are giving the stress to that particular Facebook application. Is that able to take that 1000 post or not? Okay, this type of testing is called load testing. Then stress testing, the testing under unusual or heavy load, as I said, the heavy load. Okay, the repetition of the certain actions or input a large number values. So permutation and combination we do to test this type of stress testing. We give the load to that particular application, and we need to check whether that application able to capable enough to take that much load or not. Then performance testing, testing how well an application complies to performance and qualities. Okay, so we need to test whether we have given like 1000 comments on that particular chat box, or in that what do you say, in Facebook we have commented 1000 times. Let's see whether all the things are working correctly or not. Okay, that type of testing is called performance testing. So these are the some install uninstall testings are not required. Exploratory testing, yeah, this is also important. Exploratory testing is something, okay, some senior senior software tester, they will perform this type of testing, exploratory testing. They do not have any requirement, they do not have any test design document. They will do test that application with their experience. They have already done that application, okay, and they know the functionality of that application, so they don't require any test cases, and they will just do some exploratory testing to find out any bug or not. Okay, then comparison testing, so a company comparing software strengths and weakness to competing the product, so that is a comparison testing. What is the alpha testing? Testing done when the development is nearing completion. Minor design change may still be made as a result of such testing. So there is something called alpha and beta testing. This is also important. Okay, when we go for alpha testing and when we go for a beta testing, you might have heard like some softwares, okay, they release some beta version. Okay, first they will release that beta version, like what I can say, some applications like in Selenium, as you can say. Okay, so there are some new version. The stable version, one is the stable version, 2.53 is a stable version, I can say, and then the 3.11 or 3.12 version, these are unstable version. Okay, most of the people they don't use it, okay, because it's a newly developed. So in that case, Selenium people they just put it in a beta way. I mean, it's a unstable version. They will first check whether the users are able to perform all the action they want or not, or is there any fault on that particular application. Okay, they will take input from the users, and if user is satisfied, then they will release as a stable version of that particular version. Okay, so this is alpha testing. And the beta testing when development and testings are essentially completed and finally bugs and problem need to be found before the release. Before the release, we need to, okay, release in a beta version, and as I said, the end user or customer they will give some feedback, and accordingly we can remove all those bugs before actual release. Okay, whiteboard testing, don't need this. Okay, let's keep this thing. Software testing life cycle, as I said, this is the same thing I have written. Execution. Test plan, yeah, this is the most important thing. Test plan. What is the test plan? Test planning, can you just recall what we have discussed about test planning? Yeah. Can you just tell me like I said something regarding test plan? Anything like? Hmm? Okay, sure. Okay, so test plan is something before doing any task, any development, anything. We need to plan certain things, right? We need to check whether all the things we can do or not. Before doing something, we are planning, right? Like as I said in previous class that I gave one example. You have already planned to go to US, okay? But suddenly you changed your mind one day before, okay? And you went to Canada, right? So in that case, this is unplanned, right? You went to Canada, but you have already planned since 1 or 2 months that you have researched about the US. You have researched about everything, where to go, where to stay, everything you have already planned. But in in Canada, you don't know anything, and you have not planned it anything, but still you went Canada. What will happen if you go unplanned? Yes, there will be a lot of problem you'll face, like you might not be able to get into there, and you might not get some rooms, you might not be handle the situation correctly, okay, because it's unplanned, right? Similarly, in testing also we have a plan. Before starting any testing and all, we have a plan how much resource we need, okay, to create a test of testing task. What are the tasks we need to test? Everything is being documented in a particular document that is called a test plan document. Estimate of the completion, etc., that will be present in that, okay. The document testing standards also they will write in test plan, right? A document that describes the scope, approach, and resource scheduling, etc., in this particular test planning. I think I have shown you one document regarding the test plan. Let me just tell you once again. This is the test plan. Okay, there are a lot of things. The cover sheet, there is a approval sign. Someone will approve this plan first. Okay, this is the test plan. The things will be written over here. Okay, this is a template. Let me show you the exact test plan. Okay, you can see there is a test plan. There is develop content is there. There is introductions about this application, what they are gonna test, right? And also what are the objectives and who are the audience and what is the test strategy. Everything is being mentioned. Scope, then exploratory testing, how much defect you have already planned or something like that. Everything is being documented over here. In functional testing and the test approach, okay, and what are the work items, okay, and what is the severity and priority of that particular module or defect, whatever present, right? So everything you can see like here, when to start, when to finish, and what the effort, and any comments if you have. So all the things is being included in this. Okay. Any doubt on this, like test plan? What are the things present in the test plan? Understood? Okay. So test items, feature to be tested, etc. As I said, the same thing will be contained in the test plan. Then purpose of preparing test plan: validate the accessibility of a software product. Okay, and the help the people outside the test group to understand why and how of product validations. A test plan should be thorough enough. Okay, overall coverage of test to be conducted useful and understandably by the people inside and outside the group. Okay, whoever know or don't know, so we should create a plan in such a way, such a manner. Okay, everyone, whether he is a part of this project or not, okay, so he should be able to understand whatever they have written in their test plan and what all they are going to test. But the scope, the areas to be tested by the QA team specify where and which are out of the scope. Okay, which should be in scope to test those applications, and which all are the out of scope. Okay, so these things need to be tested. Fine. Then test approach, detail on how the testing is to be performed. I have said something like entry criteria, exit criteria. Have you remember in day one or day two? I have said something called entry and exit criteria. Remember? No. Okay. So basically, what is the entry criteria? Like we have multiple pages, right? In testing as well. As I said, first you'll analyze the requirement of the BRD document. Then you need to design your, test plan, test strategy, etc. Then after that, you need to create your test cases. Okay. Then execution. Then you can say reporting this testing result to the manager or the client. Okay, so the entry criteria of each phase in STLC, like if we have anything called, suppose in test execution, okay, there is a cycle called test execution in phase STLC phase. There is a execution phase, right? I have shown you there is a execution phase. So what happens in that execution phase? We do execute the test cases. Okay, we go to the browser, open the browser, go to that any particular application, then we need to enter the username or password, etc. Right? So in that case, before coming to execution, what are the prerequisite? Okay, the first prerequisite or the mandatory action that need to be performed, okay, before execution of the test. What are the mandatory things that need to be covered? First one is you need to complete test analysis. Okay, you need to complete test analysis. Then what you need to do? Designing. Okay, designing of the test plan or scenario, or test cases. Then execution. Okay. Then after the execution, after that, a report to the manager and all. So, what is the entry criteria of execution? That means